I didn't think anything of it when I entered the park that afternoon. I'd been there dozens of times before. Same trails. Same wooden sign at the entrance. Same gravel parking lot with faded white lines. It was supposed to be a short walk. Just a break from my phone. From people. From noise. I remember checking the time before stepping inside. 3:40 p.m. I even thought, I'll be back before 5. That thought matters later. The park was unusually quiet. Not silent, but muted. Like someone had turned the volume down on the world. I could hear my footsteps. My breathing. The soft crunch of leaves. But no birds. No insects. No distant traffic. I brushed it off. Some days are like that. About 10 minutes in, I noticed something else. The trail felt longer. Not physically longer, but stretched. Every turn looked familiar, yet wrong by a few degrees. Trees leaned inward like they were listening. I checked my phone. 3:42 p.m. 2 minutes had passed. That didn't make sense. I'd been walking at least 10. I told myself not to overthink it. That's the thing about moments like these, you don't panic at first. You rationalize. I kept walking. That's when the sound stopped completely. No wind. No footsteps. Not even my own. I stopped walking, and the silence pressed in, thick and heavy, like my ears were filled with cotton. Then I noticed something ahead. A clearing. I knew that clearing. There was always a bench there. But when I stepped into it, the bench was gone. In its place, was a log. Freshly fallen. No moss. No rot. Like it hadn't been there long. I sat down, suddenly exhausted. I remember thinking, just a minute. Then I'll head back. This is where things break. I don't remember standing up. I don't remember leaving the clearing. I don't remember walking back. But suddenly, I was at the edge of the park. The exit gate was in front of me. Sunlight was harsher. Brighter. My head throbbed like I'd been screaming. I stepped into the parking lot. And everything was wrong. Police cars. At least 4 of them. Lights flashing. People standing around. Someone shouting my name. I froze. My mother ran toward me and grabbed my face like she was checking if I was real. She was crying. Not relief crying. Hysterical crying. My father stood behind her, pale, like he'd aged years. A police officer stepped forward. "Where have you been?" he asked. I laughed. "Just walking," I said. "Why?" No one laughed back. The officer looked at his radio, then at me. "You've been missing for 2 days." I told them that was impossible. I showed them my phone. 3:42 p.m. Same time. Same battery percentage. Same unread notification from earlier that day. They said it was Sunday night. I had entered the park on Friday afternoon. They had drones. Dogs. Volunteers. They searched day and night. They said they never found a single trace of me. No footprints. No clothing. No phone signal. I was just gone. At the hospital, things got worse. They took my shoes off. The soles were soaked. Not with mud. With blood. Dried. Dark. Crusted deep into the tread. They tested it. It wasn't mine. They asked if I'd hurt anyone. I said no. They asked if I remembered anyone else being in the park. I said no. Then a nurse quietly asked, "Why do you keep apologizing in your sleep?" I didn't know what she meant. Until they played the audio. Apparently, I'd been whispering. Over and over. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. Sometimes followed by, "Please let me go home." I was released the next day. No charges. No explanation. They said it was trauma. A dissociative episode. But trauma requires an event. And no one could find mine. That night, I took a shower. When the water hit my back, something stung. I looked in the mirror. There were marks. Long, faint bruises, circling my wrists. Like hands. Too large to be mine. Too evenly spaced. I felt sick. I tried to sleep. I dreamed of the clearing. The log wasn't a log anymore. It was moving. Breathing. And I wasn't alone. There were others. Standing just beyond the trees. Watching. Waiting. They didn't have faces. Just impressions of faces, like someone trying to remember what a human looks like. One of them stepped forward. It wore my voice. It said, "You stayed longer last time." I woke up screaming. My phone buzzed. A photo notification. I hadn't taken a photo. But it was there. Dated Friday, 4:01 p.m. The image showed the clearing. The log. And me. Sitting on it. Looking directly at the camera. Behind me. Something tall. Blurred. Close enough to touch me. I haven't gone back to the park. I won't. But sometimes, when I check my phone, the time hasn't moved. Still 3:42 p.m. And sometimes, late at night, I hear footsteps outside my window. Matching my own. Stopping when I stop. Waiting for me to return. I've lived in this apartment for almost 3 years. Across the street is a public park. Nothing special. A small playground, 2 swings, a slide, and a walking path that loops around it. The park closes at 9 p.m. Every night, right on time, the lights shut off. After that, it's silent. Or at least, it used to be. The first night we heard it, I checked the clock. 12:17 a.m. I was half asleep when I heard it. Laughter. High-pitched. Carefree. Children. At first, I thought I was dreaming. But then my partner sat up in bed and said, "Do you hear that?" We stood by the window and looked down at the park. The lights were off. Completely dark. No movement. No silhouettes. Yet the sound was clear. Footsteps on gravel. The metallic creak of the swings. Children laughing and running. Not screaming. Not crying. Just, playing. I told myself it was probably sound carrying from somewhere else. But the park was the only open space around. And the laughter wasn't distant. It was right there. Below us. It stopped suddenly. Like someone had flipped a switch. Silence. We waited a few seconds. Then my phone buzzed. A message from our downstairs neighbor. Are there kids in the park right now? That's when the unease set in. The second night, we were ready. 12:10 a.m. The laughter started again. Same sounds. Same pattern. Running. Swing chains moving. Shoes scraping the ground. This time, we went outside. Standing at the building entrance, we could hear it more clearly. The sound was coming from different parts of the park at once. Like multiple groups of kids. But the darkness didn't change. No shadows. No movement. Just sound. I stepped a little closer to the fence. The laughter stopped. Instantly. Not faded. Stopped. Then I heard something new. Breathing. Close. Too close. Right near my ear. I stepped back. The breathing stopped too. We went back inside. Locked the door. Didn't sleep. On the third night, it got worse. The laughter didn't start at midnight. It started at 11:42 p.m. Earlier. Closer. Louder. And this time, someone said my name. Not shouted. Whispered.
Eric.
From the park. In a child's voice. I froze. I never told anyone my name. Not to neighbors. Not online. Yet it was clear. Correct. Perfect. My partner heard it too. We didn't speak. We just stared at each other. Then the sound began to move. The laughter started circling the building. Footsteps on pavement. Running. Stopping. Running again. Like they were playing a game. Like tag. Then we heard the swing. Just one. Slow. Creak. 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 Over and over. At 12:30 a.m., the park lights turned on. By themselves. Every single one. The park was empty. No children. No footprints. No movement. Just the swings. All of them. Moving. The next morning, we called the city. They said the park lighting system is manual. It can't turn on automatically. And no one had accessed it. We asked neighbors if they had kids. Everyone said the same thing. They'd heard it. No one had seen anything. That night, the laughter came earlier. 10:58 p.m. The park wasn't even closed yet. Families were still leaving when the sounds began. Parents stopped. Looked around. Grabbed their kids. Left. At exactly 11:05 p.m., the park was empty. The laughter continued. This time, it wasn't playful. It sounded wrong. Too slow. Too synchronized. Like it was being repeated. I recorded it. Just sound. No video. When I played it back, the laughter wasn't there. Instead, there was whispering. Layered. Overlapping. And underneath it all, a voice saying, "Come play." We moved out 2 weeks later. Didn't wait for the lease to end. Didn't tell the landlord why. The park is still there. Still open during the day. Still full of children. But sometimes, when I check the community group chat, someone new asks, "Does anyone else hear kids laughing at night?" And no one answers anymore. There were 3 of us on that trip. Me. My cousin. And his college friend. We were visiting another country, nothing dangerous, nothing remote. Just a well-known public park that showed up on every travel blog. Wide walking paths. Tourists everywhere. Families. Couples. Vendors. The kind of place where nothing bad is supposed to happen. That's why it still bothers me. We spent most of the afternoon walking, talking, taking photos like normal tourists. Statues. Trees. Each other. At one point, we reached an open area near a lake. The light was perfect, golden hour. My cousin said, "Let's take photos here." So we did. Not together. Individually. That matters. First, I took a photo of my cousin standing near the railing, lake behind him. Then my cousin took one of me, facing the trees. Then his friend took a wide shot of both of us from a few steps back. Different phones. Different angles. Different moments. None of us noticed anything strange. No one bumped into us. No one stood too close. At least, I don't remember anyone doing that. That night, back at the hotel, we were scrolling through photos. Laughing. Deleting bad ones. Comparing shots. That's when my cousin paused. "Who's that?" he asked. He turned his phone toward us. In the photo he took of me, there was someone behind me. A man. Standing just a little too close. Not touching me, but close enough that I would have felt his presence. He was partially out of focus, like the camera didn't want to capture him clearly. Dark jacket. Neutral face. Looking directly at the camera. I laughed at first. "Probably just someone walking past," I said. Then his friend said quietly, "Check yours." I opened the photo I'd taken of my cousin. Same thing. The man was there too. Standing behind him this time. Same distance. Same posture. Same expression. Different angle. My stomach tightened. That's when we stopped joking. Then came the third photo. The wide shot. The one that should have shown all 3 of us clearly. And it did. But behind us. The man was standing between us. Close enough that his shoulder almost overlapped mine. Too close to be accidental. None of us remembered seeing him. None of us remembered anyone entering the frame. And this wasn't a crowded area. There should have been movement blur. But he was perfectly still. Sharp enough to notice. We zoomed in. His face wasn't blurred by motion. It was blurred like an error. As if the camera couldn't decide what he looked like. His eyes were wrong. Not dark. Just flat. Empty. We checked timestamps. The photos were taken minutes apart. Yet he appeared in all 3. Same clothes. Same position relative to whoever was in front. Always behind. Always too close. My cousin tried to laugh it off. Maybe he was following us. That didn't make sense. He would have had to move silently. Perfectly. And none of us sensed anyone near us. Not even instinctively. His friend suggested something else. Check the live photos. That's when my hand started shaking. In the live photo on my phone, I watched the short clip play. The moment before the photo was taken. I stepped into frame. Then froze. Behind me, nothing. Then. One frame later. He was there. No walking in. No movement. Just, present. Like he'd been added. We checked the others. Same thing. He didn't enter the frame. He appeared. We didn't sleep that night. Every small sound felt closer. He was in the photos, but not in our memories. And that scared me more than anything else. The next morning, my cousin noticed something new. The photos had changed. The man's face was clearer. Not fully, but clearer than before. As if the image was loading. And he wasn't looking at the camera anymore. He was looking at us. Out of the photo. We deleted the images. All of them. Every device. Even emptied trash folders. That should have been the end. It wasn't. 2 days later, while backing up my phone, I found one image left. One I swear I didn't keep. It wasn't from the park. It was from our hotel room. Taken at night. While we were asleep. The photo showed the room. Beds. Curtains. And standing between them. The same man. Closer than before. No blur. No distortion. Perfectly clear. That's when I noticed something else. In the reflection of the mirror. My eyes were open. Staring straight at him. I don't take photos anymore. Not of people. Not of myself. And if someone insists on standing behind me, I move. Because I don't know when he stopped being in the photo. And started learning how to stand closer. I was walking through the park just before sunset. Not late. Not dark. The kind of time when joggers are heading home and parents are calling their kids back from the playground. That's why nothing felt wrong at first. I was near the exit path when a small voice spoke behind me. "Mister?" I turned around. A boy stood there. Maybe 6 or 7 years old. Short. Thin. Wearing a light-colored hoodie that looked a little too clean for a park. He wasn't crying. He wasn't scared. He just looked, expectant. "I can't find my parents," he said. That alone didn't scare me. Kids get lost in parks all the time. I crouched down slightly and asked him where he'd last seen them. He didn't answer right away. Just stared at me. Not at my face. At my chest. Like he was listening for something. "Do you know their names?" I asked. He shook his head. "Can you help me look?" he said. His voice was calm. Too calm. But I nodded anyway. We started walking back toward the playground. As we walked, I noticed something strange. Other people were still around. Joggers passed us. A couple walked their dog. But no one looked at the boy. Not once. Even when he walked right past them. I asked him what his parents were wearing. He said, they were watching. That was it. No description. Just that. When we reached the playground, it was almost empty. One mom was gathering her kids. She didn't notice the boy standing right next to me. I waved to get her attention. She waved back at me. Only me. I felt a tightness in my chest. I looked down at the boy. He was smiling now. Not happy. Just, stretched. Which way did you come from? I asked. He pointed toward the trees. Away from the paths. Away from the lights. I told him we should go to the park office. He tilted his head. My parents don't like that place, he said. That's when I noticed his shoes. They were clean. No dirt. No grass stains. Even though he'd supposedly been playing here. I stopped walking. He took one more step. Then stopped too. He was standing very close to me. Close enough that I could feel his breath. But I couldn't hear it. You said you'd help, he said. Same calm voice. No emotion. I stepped back. And that's when I realized something else. The park had gone quiet. No footsteps. No birds. No voices. Just us. I looked around. Everyone else was gone. The playground lights flickered on. Automatically. The sun was already touching the trees. I hadn't noticed it setting. I looked back at the boy. He was no longer smiling. His face was blank. Can we go now? He asked. I asked him where his parents were. He raised his hand. Pointed behind me. I turned. There was no one there. When I turned back. He was closer. Too close. Standing where I had just been. I felt something cold run through me. Not fear. Understanding. I said, I can't help you. For the first time, his expression changed. Confusion. Then disappointment. You always say that, he said. I took a step back. Then another. He didn't follow. He just watched. Then he said something that still wakes me up at night. They don't let me leave the park alone. I didn't ask who. I didn't wait. I turned and ran. I didn't stop until I reached the street. Cars passed. People talked. Normal sounds returned. I looked back. The park looked normal. Lights on. Empty playground. No boy. I reported it to park security. They took my statement. Then asked me one question. Did the child blink? I realized then. I couldn't remember him blinking. Not once. The guard sighed. Said, you're the third person this month. I don't walk through that park anymore. Especially at sunset. Because sometimes, when I pass by the fence, I see a small figure standing near the trees. Watching people leave. Waiting for someone else to help him find his parents. These stories are real. Subscribe to hear the next one.